Okay, I'm going to show you how to do a cut fill analysis in Civil 3D. So I have here the green at hole 13 at Newton. Once you see how to do this, you'll be able to go in and grade, put the grading in for the T and do a cut fill analysis up there. So first things first, I have all of these contours, both major and minor, on their own layer, and all of these contours on their own layer. The existing contours on a layer and the proposed contours on their own layers. Importantly, the tick marks are also on their own layer, and this is helpful because it means that we can turn them off really easily and not get them included in the cut fill analysis. So what we'll be doing is having Civil 3D compare two surfaces. We'll have an existing surface and a proposed surface, and then the program will compare them against each other and create the cut fill analysis for us. And so the first thing that we need to do is create these two surfaces. First, we're going to create the existing surface. So select all of your existing contours. I do this by just selecting one and doing select similar until they're all selected, and isolate those objects. It just makes it easier. Now here in your prospector, which you can access up here in Home, Tool Space, Prospector, I already created this, so we're just going to delete it and do it again. Under Surfaces, you right click, Create Surface, change the name to something like Topo Existing. Style doesn't matter because we're going to end up creating our own style in the end. So just change the name, leave everything else as it is defaulted, and click OK. Now, if you expand this menu under Topo Existing and then expand Definition, you can click Contours, right-click, Add Contours. All of these can stay the same as the default, 1500, leave swapping edges off, and click OK. And now it's prompting you to select the contours. So all we're going to do is select all of these contours. Make sure they're all selected and click Enter. Okay. This may, depending on what the surface style was, this may display very differently for you. It doesn't really matter. All that we need is that a surface has been created. If you don't see anything here, one way to check is you can right-click Topo Existing Surface, select, and it'll select the surface and bring up this top menu for you. Now, we want to make sure that these surfaces are on their own layers. Again, it just makes it easier to stay organized. So you'd go into Layer Manager, you'd create two new layers. I've already created them here. I like naming them X Surf Existing, X Surf PR, making sure they're not being plotted. Doesn't matter what the color is. Select your surface, layer, and add it to Xsurf Existing. All right, so we've created one surface. Now, let's unisolate everything. And we're going to create the proposed surface. So now we want to select all of our proposed contours. I have these as minor contours and major contours, so I need to make sure that I have all of them selected. Those must be on wrong layers. And then I want to isolate these objects. While I'm at it, I'm going to check what layers these are on. Yeah, they're correct. Because these have straight lines, that's why they didn't select automatically. So I have these selected and I want to create another surface. Create surface, change the name to Topo PR. Okay. And now we're just doing the exact same thing. So under Topo PR, definition, right-click contours, add, leave all these as the defaults. Okay. Select the contours. And this is the putting grain grading that I already have in there. We're not doing a cut fill analysis for this, and so I'm just not selecting those as part of the surface. So select your contours, click Enter, and now you have another surface. Make sure that you put it on the correct layer. Xsurf PR, and we can unisolate. So we now have two surfaces here, and I now want to isolate just the surfaces because that's what we're going to be working on from here on out. So you could do this two ways. You could either select both your surfaces and isolate the objects, or you could go into your layer properties and you could turn everything off if you wanted, but I find that this is just easier. So I select my two surfaces, isolate the objects, and now what we want to do is do a volumes analysis. So select one of your surfaces and go up here under tin surface, analyze volumes dashboard. When you open this, this is what it'll show you. And right up here, this is to create a new volume surface, which is what you want to do. So select that. You could rename this if you want. So we'll just call this cut fill. And then you need to select two surfaces. So you need a base surface and a comparison surface. The base surface will always be your existing. The comparison surface will always be your new. Everything else can stay the same here. There's a cut factor and a fill factor. This would change the math of how it's calculated. We just want one-to-one so that we can see exactly where cuts and exactly where fills are. Again, style, we're going to add our own style. So just select anything, leave it default. It doesn't matter. Click OK. And it'll show something here. It probably won't be this. I may have already made some changes, but it'll show some kind of surface, probably a bunch of triangles. And over here in the prospector, there will be a new cut fill surface. And again, you can always right click this and click select. Now, in the volumes dashboard, under cut fill, it'll show you how much cut. So there's 984 cubic yards of cut, 594 cubic yards of fill, which means that adjusted, there's a 390 net cut, and it shows a small graph here. So this grading plan has more 390 cubic yards more cut than fill. Generally, the goal is always to balance it because it means that we don't have to get rid of material and we don't have to import material. But this is why we do this, so that we know what kind of cut there is, what kind of fill there is. Now we want to change the style of this surface because these colors, whatever they're showing, I think for you, they might just pop up as different shades of blue across the whole site originally. Just doesn't really mean very much. So to change the color, you select this cut fill surface and go up to, actually on the left in prospector, there's tool space, go to settings, and under surface styles, right click, and you want to click new. Under information, you would name it. I've already done this, and so I'm not going to do this, but you would name it whatever you want, cut fill. And then under display, so it's a duplicate. So you would name it, and then you would, under display, select the things that you want to show. Here, we probably just want to show the border, and we want to show the elevations, and nothing else. Everything else should be off. Then you would click OK. I'm going to click cancel because I've already created this cut fill surface style. Now, you select the surface, and under surface, and you click surface properties, and here under analysis, information, surface styles, you want to select your cut fill surface and apply it. There we go. So that's what it's showing. Now, under analysis, surface properties, analysis. I'm going to go number of ranges. So we want analysis type as elevations, number of ranges. I like doing 4. This could be 2. and you'll see why in just a second, but I really like doing 4. And then you click this down arrow to drop 4 ranges down here. So what this shows us is right here, the minimum elevation, this is the largest cut in this plan, is almost 4.5 feet, and the largest fill is just over 4.5 feet. This centerpiece is going to be our 0. So we could show, if we typed in 0 here, then what we'd be showing is everything that's a cut and everything that's a fill. But if it's less than 6 inches, it's less important to show. So we're going to start this at -5, and we're going to start this at 0.5. So that anything in between those, less than 1/2 foot cut, less than 1/2 foot fill, isn't going to display in our analysis. And then you can choose your interval. So up here, you could do 1 foot, and we're just going to color grade these so that you can see what's a 1 foot cut, what's a 2 foot cut. Because we have 4, we're going to go from 1/2 foot to 2 feet. So to -2, and then from -2 down to the minimum. And then on the other side, we're going to go from 1/2 foot up to 2, and then from 2 to the maximum. And now we need to select colors. So for the largest cut, we're going to do a straight red. For the largest fill, green. And then for less than that, we're going to select something that's a little bit softer red, a little bit softer green. Choose the colors that look right. These are the colors that I really like. I like using 71 as the soft green and 21 as the soft red. And then you'll click apply and OK. This is now your cut fill analysis. And so if we unisolate everything and we select the surface, display order, send it to the back. Oops. Display order, send it to the back. Why isn't that working? Oh, regen. So regenerate the drawing. And now what we can see is all of these dark red areas means that there's at least 2 foot cut. The light red is a 1/2 inch, or a 1/2 foot to 2 foot cut. The dark green is 2 foot or more of fill. The light green is 6 inches to 2 feet of fill. And now we can see really easily where our cut is, where our fill is. In the next video, I will show you how to take this and create a layout to demonstrate this cut fill, put in a graph, and communicate this as you want. Make sure that you save your work. And that's it.